Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and the National Anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we commence, please join me for a moment of silence as we remember the victims, their families, and communities in the wake of the recent tragedy at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. You may be seated. Respected Principal Leach, Assistant Principal Luce, teachers, advisors, esteemed parents, family, and friends, and my fellow classmates. Welcome to the Charlotte Teacher Early College CTEC Class of 2022 graduation ceremony. My name is Warren Chapman. I've been asked to share my experience of being a super senior in the 13th grade at CTEC since the school's inception. For a super senior such as myself, our first day on campus as a freshman was August 7th, 2017. I was a 13-year-old, no mustache, and about a foot shorter. We all looked different on campus 5 years ago. For me, it was amazing to be on the same college campus as my 21-year-old brother who was a junior at UNC Charlotte. Our school was a big deal when it first opened. The local news media was here. In fact, I was interviewed by a TV news reporter. There was a lot of fanfare, balloons, and it was all very exciting. We were the first class, and we were made to feel special. We were located on the ground level, or as some of the students refer to it as the basement, in Cato College of Education building in the middle of college campus. We realized quickly that we were not a traditional high school. We had huge support from our school staff. For example, I recall there was a last-minute change of an edition of a textbook required for my college course. Mr. Miller hurriedly copied the required pages of the new edition textbook so I'd have the ability to complete my homework, assignments, and prepared for class. While CTEC waited for the correct edition of the hard copy textbook to arrive. Without Mr. Miller's help, I do not know how I would have made it that freshman year. When I started my college classes as a sophomore, Ms. Luce would personally escort me and 3 other students to our classes since we were first to take college courses. We grew a bond with Ms. Luce as she made certain we reached class safely. Ms. Luce would literally, and I mean literally, wait outside of our class to escort us back to the Sikh building. There is no other high school that has this type of attention for their students. Now, in my 5th year, I did not take any high school classes, yet I still received incredible support from my C-Tech guidance counselor, Ms. Oates, along with my former English teacher and homeroom teacher, Ms. Kierton, as I navigated my college courses and scholarships. C-Tech is the most unique high school, bar none, in CMS and is respected by college recruiters. The uniqueness of this program was confirmed when my college recruiter shared that a large reason for my scholarship award was because I was committed to a 5-year program allowed me to complete 82 college credits with a 3.7 GPA. I am happy to share that I was awarded the Presidential Scholarship Award, a full-ride scholarship at Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona Beach, Florida. This award was given because of the C-Tech program. Over the past 5 years, I learned the value of C-Tech. I made sure not to take C-Tech for granted, but to take advantage of being a student at C-Tech. It's been a wonderful 5 years. Congrats to the class of 2022. On behalf of the whole class of 2022, I would like to thank our faculty and staff for their support and guidance these past few years. Your efforts and influence on our lives did not go unrecognized. Thank you. Next, we will have Drew Walker speak, Salutatorian for C-Tech.
Good evening, loved ones, educators, guests, and fellow graduates. Welcome to the Charlotte Teacher Early College graduation class of 2022. As we proceed with the ceremony, I would like to ask everyone to please silence their cell phones and keep their applause and cheers to a reasonable minimum out of respect to the other graduates. I would also like to thank our special guests for their appearance and crucial role in our ceremony. Please welcome Dr. Ruby Jones, District 3 School Board Member, Dr. Matt Hayes, Deputy Superintendent of Academics, Mr. Brian Schultz, Chief Operations Officer, Ms. Tara Kennedy, Associate Superintendent for High Equity, Mr. John Wall, Community Superintendent of the Northeast Learning Community, Mr. Will Leach, Charlotte Teacher Early College Principal, Mrs. Christina Luce, Charlotte Teacher Early College Assistant Principal, and Mrs. Shannon Meehan, Charlotte Teacher Early College Dean of Students. My name is Drew Walker, and I would like to introduce the C-Tech Valedictorian. Our 12th grade Kirsten Colmenares was a member of C-Tech Student Council and has been a voice for equity and fairness for C-Tech students. Our 13th year valedictorian is Lauren Graves, and our 12th grade valedictorian is Kirsten Colmenares. Lauren is a super senior and has been at C-Tech Lauren is a super senior and has been at C-Tech. C-Tech was established in 2007. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kirsten Colmenares.
Good evening, fellow faculty, friends, families, and graduates. Buenas tardes a todos. It is my honor to be speaking with you all today. I would first like to give thanks to the person who taught me English, to read and multiply, the one who raised me, my mother. To not only my immigrant mother, but to many other immigrant parents as well. Gracias. My mom arrived in the United States 35 years ago, not knowing what her future held, not knowing if she could achieve the American dream everyone spoke so highly about. From the late nights of her comforting me as I cried about math homework, to printing me multiplication worksheets every weekend, I stand here today to show I'm a product of her sueño americano. This sueño, dream, looks different for everyone, and that's okay. Okay. Some people may achieve this sueño faster or slower than others. Some may have multiple sueños or just one. Whatever the case may be, do not compare your sueño to others. Your sueño is yours, and no one else has the authority to tell you otherwise. Sin el esfuerzo de nuestros padres para cruzar ríos y fronteras, no habríamos hecho esto posible. No habríamos logrado nuestro sueño. Gracias por sus sacrificios and giving us all the tools to be here today. From me to other Hispanic and first-generation students, sí se pudo. Another thing my mother taught me was that she knows everything. When she first told me I was attending C-Tech, I threw a fit. I wanted to go to a normal high school. I wanted to experience having a locker, going to football games, going to homecoming, and joining a club. My mother and I were correct on two things. C-Tech will be a good place for me, and C-Tech was most definitely not a normal high school. After these last 4 years, normal soon left my vocabulary. Normal was not a reality when we started in the basement and our other high school friends were in a building with over 50 classrooms. Normal was a distant thought when we were 15-year-olds in college classes. It was not normal to go to the Union or Prospector to have lunch, and normal was gone when we were unsure of our nation's health. Throughout high school, we have learned that we don't need these normal things to grow. We were scared of all of these unusual things, yet these events have shaped us into who we are today. As we say goodbye to high school, remember, do not settle for normal, but conquer the unusual. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2022. As Elle Woods once said, we did it!
Well, thank you, Kirsten. That was extremely moving. And thank you to the students, teachers, parents, and staff who've made these last 5 years possible. Now, what if tomorrow you had to wake up at 4:30 in the morning? You'd be tired, probably a little confused, probably a little angry. And that's what happened to me 5 years ago. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning and I got on a bus. And you know what I did? I passed out. And when I woke up, I was in front of a building I had never seen before, and every bit of information I was supposed to know went out the window. So you know what I did? I listened to what was around me. I heard people say there was breakfast. And so I followed them into the Seek building. Now here's one important thing you need to know about Seek. It has one hallway. One straight hallway. No turns, no corners, nothing. And I got lost in it. And I am valedictorian, and I don't know how that's possible. And so in my despair, I saw someone I met at the open house. And I thought, she looks like she knows where she's going. And I saw Cameron Sanders. I got a little hope, and I went to Cameron. And I was so happy, I was so relieved. And sadly, she had no idea where we were. None. That day, we didn't get breakfast. We learned we don't even have a cafeteria, really. But I made a friend. And I can say that this school taught us one thing, that we need to make connections and to support each other. And I know without a doubt I would not be standing here without the people who are graduating with me. And I know you feel similarly. In the last 5 years, we've had the unique experience of high school and college together. We've been at the student union together. We learned in that tiny, dark basement where you had to know exactly where to sit to get a text message out. I remember our first college class. It was a history class. And we had this old professor. He was great. But it was all about the early part of American history. And it was so much material. And this guy would go on and on and on. And I remember our first test. It was all open response. And it was 2 hours long. And it was months of material that we had to get in write down 2 hours. And the only thing we were allowed is a 3x5 note card. 3x5, front and back, that was it. Now I have to give credit where credit's due. Brody, he organized a study group that probably helped most of us pass here. I think we would agree on that? Yeah. Okay. And remember, we would go into these study rooms, and we would have this one MasterCard. Remember, I would write it out, and Brody would look at it, and we would write down everything on that card. Every bit of American history, from when they landed till, I think, the Puritans. And it would be so tiny, it was nearly illegible. Now, these connections and collaborations were put to the test. These last 5 years have been a roller coaster ride, haven't they? We have had 2 tropical storms, snowstorms, a school shooting, and for the last 2 years, we've had the coronavirus to deal with. And that doesn't involve any of the normal woes of high school life. But we endured. I remember in the pandemic, it was so hard to get assignments due. There was a lot of things happening, and you never knew what was going to happen. I remember our English midterm. I don't know how this happened, but for some reason, a lot of us, we couldn't start that midterm till like the day it was before it was due. And this wasn't an easy assignment. We had to create a complete lesson plan. We had to get all the materials. We had to write out plans. It was not easy. So I remember 24 hours, even though this was an individual assignment, we jumped on a Zoom call, and we worked together, and we finished that. When one person would finish, they would help another. If you were confused on something, someone would help you out. And we were able to finish it. We were able to turn it in, and we were able to have a great spring break because of it. We learned how to be compassionate. We learned how to endure. We learned how to collaborate. And these are the skills that are going to stick with us for the rest of our lives. And we might forget the day-to-day little things, where we ate X day or who we were friends with, but these skills are what's going to stay with us. And now, I have the pleasure of introducing our English teacher from our junior and senior year. She has 20 years of experience. She's the teacher of the year. She prepared us for college classes, and her class made college classes seem like a walk in the park in comparison. Ms. Curitan.
Thank you, Lauren. This is a moment I have an opportunity to break every single rule I taught you in the 4 years. I plan to read from this phone, talk as quickly as I can, maybe in circles and plagiarize a little bit, ramble on and get a little bit off the topic. You know how I roll. But in all honesty, I heard there's a running pool on whether or not I would cry during this speech. So, Mr. Leach, I promise to try not to cry.
I got money on it.
It is my honor today to be selected as a special commencement speaker. I offer my most sincere congratulations to each of you and your parents, guardians, families, and friends. They share in your accomplishments as well as the administration and staff who provided knowledge and support on your journey to this great day. To the first class of Charlotte Teacher Early College graduates, today is monumental. It is a culmination and celebration of your academic achievements as pioneers in this program. You are my first C-Tech babies, class of 2022. Firecrackers. Woo, y'all were trendsetters, and y'all were ready to set it off at any moment. What we had was much like a Shakespearean comedy. Not much, not much like the comedies we all know today that are ha-ha funny. You know, Shakespearean comedies are known to be rather serious, actually, with some punchy language and a good laugh here and there, and some sadness, too. What makes a Shakespearean comedy what it is the fact that it ends happily. It truly is the antithesis of the tragedy Macbeth we read in class, where nearly everyone dies in the end. The comedy is rather complicated. It has ups and downs and twists and turns, similar to a tragedy according to Aristotle, and I know y'all remember those annotations. But there are many characteristics that separate the two. So I'm going to detail a few that are very similar to what our journey entailed. There's a struggle of young, let's say students here, to overcome problems, often the result of interference of their elders, insert me here. There's some element of separation and reunification, insert COVID there. Mistaken identities, often involving disguise, insert the masks. The odd usernames y'all came up with on Zoom. The blank screens. There are also family tensions that usually resolved in the end. So insert familiar, quarantine struggles, my child and my dog Zooming and bombing the back of my screen daily. Y'all remember that? Complex interwoven plot lines, insert my PBO project instructions here. This amen corner over here. Frequent use of puns and other styles of comedy, insert your constant shady comments. Y'all Y'all were the shadiest group I've ever had, but I loved it. I loved it. I was here for it. I want to tell you our story in 5 acts. Much like a Shakespearean play, this is how I remember it, with sound and fury. But it signified a little something. Insert Macbeth allusion there. Act 1, allow me to set the scene. We're in Cato College of Education building, affectionately known as the basement. I think this is now the 3rd time you've heard that today. Where windows were not a thing, but sunshine breaks and weekly Friday lunches were. I was assigned to plan a lesson and cover a class for Mr. Miller on Fridays. Insert unicorn here. I legitimately have never met someone who knows how to do everything. I walked 20 minutes in August, close to 100 degrees from SEEG to CTEC, for the first time, by the way, and because I thought that was a good idea. I walk in and I greet Miss Mizuka, insert angel there, who directs me to the room on the right in the basement. Here's some stage directions. In comes unknown teacher. First impressions from students, she's crazy. I burst in the door sweaty because I just walked in 100 degrees. And aside from that, I was reciting a well-known soliloquy from Macbeth, the Tomorrow Speech. Why? Because I thought it was a good idea. You all looked at me like I had 3 heads. On what I like to call a fancy overhead, and that's a shout out to Miss Roberts, by the way, we annotated a Langston Hughes poem for over an hour. I thought I was doing something. We started with the author and the title, and we navigated through the literary devices and the extended metaphor, and by the end, you looked at me like I was crazy. That was a running theme for our play. I just spent an hour annotating a single poem with you, and I don't know what you told Mr. Miller, but all I know is the next time I showed up, there were plans. Act 2, this is the big move. The scene is set in the SEEK building, teeming with nervous energy, and you all arrive for your first year with engineering and teacher early college students in one building. You were not feeling it. You had no problem at all telling me you were not feeling it. I had half of you all most of the week in Mr. Bailey's EDU class in room 6. This is where I really got to know some of you through our human library projects and deep conversations about family and perspectives, life experiences, and frequent gripe sessions about the transition to the early college building and your legitimate feelings of displacement and frustration with flying the plane while we built it. I got to know you a bit more, and I was a little nervous, I'm gonna be honest. But what I do know is hopefully I seemed a little less crazy that year. Act 3, English 3, set in Grig. It's on now, you're officially in my class. I threw everything I possibly could at you. It was a crash course with all the protocols and timed writing, student lessons, and PBLs I could fit in one semester. And at the end of it, you were outstanding. I don't know if you know that. I said I wasn't gonna cry. I know it wasn't easy, and we experienced some growing pains, and you advocated a lot, AKA insert complaining there. But you all rose to the occasion, you accepted my challenges and learned how to speak Puritan. I've heard it's a foreign language. And went so far above and beyond my expectations, I thought my heart would burst with pride. Everything I dreamed up about those activities and assignments, you killed it. It took it somewhere I never thought it would be or where it could go, to a point where I still talk about your creativity today. I still use your lessons and the activities and the assignments that you planned and created. Some of the best work I've seen in my 20 years of teaching. And then second semester hit, and it looked a little different. I had a student teacher. That was a struggle for me, by the way. We had a whole pandemic. That too was a struggle for all of us. We had the Zoom, you know how the old people say the Facebook? We had the Zoom, and we didn't know what we were doing. We were trying to figure it out. Can you hear me? Can you see my screen? Let me see your screen. Are you muted? Am I muted? Let me mute you. Hold on, wait, no. Turn on your camera. Pet bomb here, kid bomb over there, pajama pants in the shop, home offices, AKA my dining room table, teaching to 50 black screens and muted mics because I thought combining the two classes would be a good idea. Shared screens, disabled chats, and my favorite, the profile photo that looks like you're paying attention, but it's really just a still photo of you looking studious. Those were the good times. Act 4, senior year, a year of virtual learning. By this point, we knew how to use Zoom a little better, and we discovered the power of a breakout room, a Zoom Pro using UNCC accounts. You hosted your own group meetings while I dropped in, and how awkward was that for me to randomly join a group without warning while many of you all had no idea I was in the room. The conversations about, was it really possible to build an 8-foot Frankenstein monster with perfectly proportioned limbs using bodies from a local cemetery were enlightening. Those were hilarious. The work and life conversations that were very loosely, actually had little to nothing to do with the text whatsoever. That was okay, because those were real conversations with real people. And we needed that. We needed normal. You all created projects that truly were some of the best I ever seen, and you did it without being in the same room. Lauren mentioned hardships and storms and quarantine and shutdown, and there were breakdowns too. It was hard, but we ended that year feeling accomplished. Like we had proven to the world we did it despite all the things that were determined to stop us short of our goal. So the final act, Act 5, here we are today with a year of applications, recommendation letters, college acceptance letters, and future plans. We made it. You did this. Everything that was amazing about our experience has much to do with you and very little to do with me. You did the work. You made the sacrifices and you succeeded. I was just along for the ride, blessed to be a small part of it. On our journey, there were lots of things we thought were good ideas, lots of mistakes in learning and adjustment, lots of moving parts. It refined us and made us who we are, made those college classes a breeze out here. Maybe added a few wrinkles and gray hairs too, and it came with a few tears. It taught us many lessons, you and me, and it made us better. Taught us compassion, love, perspective, the importance of being human and embracing that humanity. Being okay with not being okay sometimes. We indeed learned a great many things, and I learned a long time ago that teaching is more than just a degree, standing in front of a room full of kids giving assignments and grading. Teaching is learning throughout your whole life that there are more lessons to learn than what is simply in a book. It taught me perfection is not a thing, and that's okay. Mistakes are our building blocks to success, and we undoubtedly use those to remind us of how we navigate the future. What is most important is not the mistakes we make, the perfection we chase, but the lessons we learn about each other, from the lives we touch along the way, and the memories we make together. In the Shakespearean tragedy Macbeth, he has his great epiphany in the end. He recites a well-known soliloquy, providing meaning for his life in the very moment he loses his life. Like our first meeting, it was the very first thing I ever said to you, so I would like to use it to close. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player who struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. But this is not Macbeth or a tragedy. This is our play, our comedy, and it ends happily. We did learn something, and it all meant something, and you lighted the way for many to follow. Be that light and leave the best part of you here to live on in others. The lives that you touch when we are not together. So I'll leave you with this, if nothing else. Remember me, our time together, here, and what I've said to you more days than not. I wish you peace. I give you love. And I pray for your blessings. As always, peace, love, and blessings, y'all. I love you. I have the pleasure and honor of introducing our next speaker. This young man was an outstanding student who was also so sincere, hardworking, and creative, an excellent writer, and above all, carried himself with such poise, dignity, and grace and respect. It was such a blessing to get to know this young man, share life stories, and laugh. We laughed so much. Until this day, I continue to use his work with his crew as exemplars. And today, as he's graduating with a 4.7 high school GPA, a 4.0 college GPA, over 80 hours of college credit, and will remain at UNCC to major in computer science. He has future plans of pursuing a master's degree before entering the workforce. Please join me in welcoming Brody Tingle.
Thank you, Ms. Curitan, for those kind words. Truly means a lot coming from you. I'd like to start by thanking you all for coming today. Can you hear me good? Good? Okay. I'd like to start by thanking you all for coming today and supporting us all. It means a lot. Firstly, I'd like to thank my father for always looking out for me, being there for me, encouraging me, and making me laugh whenever I needed it. I'd also like to thank my mother for convincing me to join this program, even though I was not enthusiastic at all. The 5 a.m. wake-up call and hour-long bus ride was not ideal, but it worked out in the end. I'd also like to brag on my mom for a second. She is a first-generation college student who rose through the ranks in a field that she may not have been welcome in, and she managed to earn her PhD in educational research and statistics. Sorry, I'm fighting with my cap here. I'd also like to shout out my mom for making me feel insecure every day because she is 54 years old and in way better shape than I am. I swear she works out more than anyone I've ever met. My mom has also made a very concerted effort to tell me the difference between a professor and a lecturer. And so on that note, I'd like to thank Professor Jeffrey Baker for always making fun of my hair and single-handedly keeping Captain D's in business. If any of you have any questions about harnessing your chi energy or the martial art Aikido, please approach him at the end of the ceremony. He'd love to talk to you. Thank you, Sensei. I'd also like to thank CMS's 2017 Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Curitan, for I'd like to thank her for introducing me and all those kind words, and I'd also like to thank her for teaching me so much throughout my time in this program. As you've heard, I spent about 2 years in her classes, and those were the hardest classes I've ever had. They also were the classes that taught me the most about English and history, but also about collaboration and effort. As she mentioned, her college classes were a breeze after we got through her classes, and I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate to that. Anyone that has talked to Ms. Curitan knows she's a true joy to be around, and she has so much wisdom to impart. She's a remarkable woman, and I thank her for everything she's done. You know, I stand on the stage alone, but I was never alone on this journey. There's a couple friends I've made along the way that I'd like to shout out real quick here. Firstly, I got Warren Chapman, who spoke earlier. I'd like to thank him for dealing with my outrageous statements for the last 5 years and always being there to just study or get some food or have a laugh, just to hang out. I'm so proud of him for all the success he's had, and I'm so proud that he's going to succeed and thrive at Bethune-Cookman. But I am sad to see him go. However, if you would ever get on the game, Warren, that would probably make the transition a little easier. I'd like to thank Gavin Johnson for always getting on the game and carrying us in Warzone. I'd also like to thank Gavin for giving me advice on my car, especially when my skid plate detached halfway through an 8-hour road trip to Alabama. Gavin is the best procrastinator that I know. I remember one time we had a college essay due that I had worked on for about 2 weeks, perfecting, and Gavin decided to start it 30 minutes before it was due. He was walking to class, holding his computer in one hand, typing with the other hand, going to turn in the essay. Later, the professor called out Gavin and accused him of plagiarism because it was the best essay that he'd ever read in his entire career. I'm so happy you're succeeding as a mechanic and that you've graduated, and I'm sure I'm going to take my car to you from now on. I'd also like to give a very, very, very special thank you to Daniel and David Mba. Yep. Daniel and David are the best students and just people that I know. They both are beacons of light that spread love and joy everywhere they go, and I'm so thankful for both of them. They're also the hardest workers that I know, and I know for certain I would not have made it through Mrs. Kierton's classes without them. You know, our program was strange. We started in the basement of the College of Education, and we ended up some small kids on this very large campus. I personally had a rocky start to this program. I remember on the first Friday of the first week of the first year of school, we all took a trip to the student union. And on the way back from this trip, as everyone was getting to know each other, I was leading the pack, leading the whole group. And as we were coming down the stairs, I slipped and rolled down the whole staircase in front of the whole grade. I'm glad everyone got a laugh out of that, and I'm glad that it broke some ice, even if it was emotionally traumatizing. You know, though our program was very different and it was tough, and we went through a whole pandemic, we all got through it in our own ways. One thing I know for certain is that none of us got through it alone. Whether it was study sessions in the library for our tests, or proofreading each other's essays before they were due, or hanging out in the union playing pool after a long day of classes, we all found ways to make it through, and make it we did. Congratulations, all of you. I would now like to introduce our principal, Mr. Leach. Mr. Leach has been the, Mr. Leach has been the principal since the beginning of the program, and he has always been a leader and a role model for me and the rest of the students. Every time we talked, though we didn't talk that frequently, I left the conversation feeling encouraged and prepared for what was to come. I hope Mr. Leach continues to spread joy for years to come, and I truly thank him for everything he's done for this program. God bless, and thank you all for coming, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the ceremony.
I think you can quickly see why I love my job, and I probably have the best principal job in CMS. So again, good evening and welcome to Commencement 2022 for the Charlotte Teacher Early College High School. What a great day for our program, that we can be here in this building and not via Zoom or not on TV or not drive-through ceremonies. We can be here. It's such a great night to be here to celebrate the first 5-year cohort of the Charlotte Teacher Early College High School. Before I begin, I'd like to recognize several special members of the class of 2022. As a reminder, we have 2 groups here tonight. We have one group that's been with us for 5 years and one group that's only been with us for 4 years. So again, I would like to thank and congratulate our grade 13 salutatorian, Brody Tingle, for his academic achievements. Brody is leaving with a 4.0 UNC Charlotte GPA and has over 80 hours of UNC Charlotte credit. He will stay here in the fall at UNC Charlotte. So congratulations, Brody. Come on up. think that's going to work. Just hold it. All right, good plan. Good plan. We learned to improvise at CTEC, no question. I would also like to thank and congratulate our grade 12 salutatorian, Drew Walker, for his academic achievements. He's leaving CTEC with a 3.4 UNC Charlotte GPA and has earned 37 hours in just 4 short years. Drew plans to attend North Carolina A&T State University in the fall. Our grade 13 valedictorian is Lauren Graves. Lauren is leaving CTEC with a 4.0 UNC Charlotte GPA and has earned 71 UNC Charlotte credit hours. She plans, I believe, to stay at UNC Charlotte in the fall, so congratulations to Lauren. And last but not least, I'd like to thank and congratulate our grade 12 valedictorian, Kirsten Colmenares, for her academic achievements. Kirsten is leaving with a 3.8 UNC Charlotte GPA and has earned 48 hours in just 4 short years. She plans to attend George Washington University in the fall. I think we've said it tonight, and many of our speakers have said it tonight, but we do have an amazing staff. So if I can just have our SEEK and CTEC early college staff please rise, and let's give them a round of applause. I would also like to thank our school board and our superintendent for supporting and investing in our early college program. This is not cheap, but is a quick investment, and we've learned in a short amount of time that it's worth every penny that we spend. Our partners at UNC Charlotte have been a critical piece to our success. I'd like to especially thank our former Chancellor, Dr. Phil Dubois, and our current Chancellor, Dr. Sharon Gaber, for their vision and support. I'd also like to thank the UNC Charlotte College of Education staff, including Kevin Bailey, who I believe was here earlier, but he's been our advisor throughout the program, so thank you for all your work in putting into our program. I'd personally like to thank our learning community superintendent, which is my boss, who supports me at every turn. Thank you to Mr. John Wall for your support. Planning this commencement ceremony is not an easy task, so I'd like to thank Erica Turner and Ken Butler and all the folks from CMS for helping us, Ann Holt from UNC Charlotte for helping us, Chief Lisa Mangum from the CMS Law Enforcement, and Jeff Baker from UNC Charlotte Police for all their support over the past 8 years. CTEC is very fortunate to have a school counselor that is committed to our students. She has put in countless number of hours supporting our graduates and preparing for this event. Please join me in thanking Teresa Oates. Where's Ms. Oates? And last but not least, I'd like to thank the parents and families of our students for trusting us with your child for the past 5 years. You made a choice to come to CTEC. The first information night we had, I was standing at the front of the College of Education building. It was about 5 minutes before we were about to begin, and no one had come yet. And I'm like, what the heck? Are they really coming? Well, little you know, it's not easy to find this College of Education building. So it took everyone a few minutes to find, but just thank you for trusting us. Thank you for believing us. So if the class of 2022 will please rise, please give your parents a round of applause. The class of 22, please rise and give your parents and families a round of applause. Beginning in August of 2017, we opened our doors with the goal to expose students to the teaching profession and offer them an amazing opportunity to earn free college credits. Many of our students have changed their minds about their career path, but this should not diminish the success story of our students. They have achieved so many great things over the past 5 years and have set themselves up for a bright future. The end seemed so far away in 2017, but here we are. We blinked our eyes and we are at our graduation. You have blazed a trail on this campus that will live on for many years. Many more CMS students will have this incredible opportunity to spend their high school years on a college campus. So congratulations and thank you. In March of 2020, our lives changed dramatically. No one could have seen a global pandemic when we began in 2017. I'm so proud of this group for adjusting to uncertain times and making the most out of a challenging situation. Our fifth-year students were just finishing their junior year, the first year with mostly college classes. As Frank Bruni, a New York Times journalist, recently noted, many of you probably felt cheated and for good reason. But you know what? In crucial ways, you got a better education because of it. You learned fate really does turn on a dime. You learn trouble comes how and when you least expect it, and you can survive that trouble. You learn that there is no way of doing things. You are almost always ingenious alternatives. You can choose to take comfort and confidence from that. You can regard what you have been through as empowering, which is a trick to happiness. I've been amazed at your perseverance and resilience. Thank you for making it to this day. But as I began to prepare this message, I thought of 3 important challenges I'd like you to take forward with you. Number 1 would be choose success over society's, choose significance over society's definition of success. Society's definition of success has evolved over the past decade. Success in our society is now defined by money, fame, notoriety, and possessions. The people that are held up in our culture as being successful are not the models that we need to provide to the next generation. I challenge the CTEC class of 2022 to think differently about success. Success should be defined by your significance and the impact that you have on the world around you. Choose to be great friends, parents, coworkers, and community members. Do what you love and do regardless of how much money you'll make or notoriety that you will receive. You have a chance to make a positive or a negative impact in the world. I challenge you to choose that positive impact. Challenge number 2 would be to enjoy the important moments of your life. I know you won't believe it, but I am 52 and my life has gone by fast. I've raised 3 boys and I can't believe one's already in college, 2 are in high school. Life moves quickly. So enjoy the moments. I challenge you to take time to enjoy the graduations, your first job, weddings, births, quality time with family. Don't get caught up in what is next. Enjoy the present and all the good things that life has to offer. At many times, I've looked back and said the journey has been worth it. Challenge number 3, and the last challenge, would be to serve and give back to the world. Whether it's in your neighborhood, church, community, state, or nation, give back to those around you. Our world today needs more people willing to serve others and support those in need. Some of my greatest experiences in life have been when I've served and shown kindness to others. In a me society, it is easy to get caught up in you and what you can do. In the book, The Power of Serving Others, Gary Morse and Dean Nelson suggested that no one wants to end life's journey wondering, did my life count for something? Did I have a reason for being here? They believe that living a life of service to others and seeing how lives are changed as a result establishes the meaning and significance all humans long for. I challenge the class of 2022 to discover the power of serving others. The world you're entering is much different than the world I entered in 1988 when I graduated from high school. I challenge the Charlotte Teacher Early College class of 22 to commit to make an impact, to choose significance, to choose to live in the present, and enjoy the important moments of life. If you are a teacher, be the best teacher you can be. Whatever you do, strive for excellence. All of you have built a strong foundation for what is next. I look forward to watching you succeed in the years to come. Congratulations. Before we begin awarding diplomas, I would like to present several special awards, and we have a special guest who I'll ask to come up on stage from the State Employees Credit Union, who will make a special presentation.
Good evening. My name is Lane Cuthbertson. I'm a Senior Vice President with State Employees Credit Union in Charlotte. I'm happy to be here today to present this year's SECU Foundation People Helping People Scholarship. SECU is incredibly happy to be able to offer this scholarship to hundreds of students each year. And over the past 17 years, we have handed out more than $66 million in scholarships to a ton of students that attend one of the 16 UNC system schools. So with that said, on behalf of State Employees Credit Union, our 2.6 million members, I'm happy to award this year's SECU Foundation People Helping People Scholarship in the amount of $10,000 to Raina Hennings.
We also have other special awards. Our 37 graduates have worked hard over the last 5 years and have earned an overall 3.2 GPA in UNC Charlotte courses and have earned over 2,000 credits in the last 5 years. So let's give them a little round of applause there. We have established several special awards, and the first one I'll call is Selfish in Nature. I'm calling it the Principals Award. This year I selected 2 very deserving students. The words on the award say that it's presented to the CTEC senior who embodies joy, compassion, kindness, goodness, and self-control. When I think about these 2 students, I just think about all of those traits. Goodness, kindness. Their parents may not say it was self-control, but they learn self-control throughout the program. So again, they've just been a joy to be around. They bring a positive can-do energy. The first award, he plans to attend Bethune-Cookman University in the fall. The first 2022 CTEC Principal Award goes to Warren Chapman. The second student plans to attend George Washington University in the fall. The second award goes to Kirsten Colmenares. And I don't believe the next award student is not here, but I gotta say this. Succeeding in a 5-year high school program on the campus of a major university takes perseverance. The Webster's defines perseverance as steadfastness in doing something despite difficulty or delay. To be honest, after the first 2 years of the program, we were not sure if this kid was gonna make it. But he stayed with it, made the most of the next 3 years, even during a global pandemic. He is leaving CTEC with a 2.6 UNC Charlotte GPA and 57 college credits. He plans, I believe, to stay here, but he's not here tonight, but I just want to recognize the 2022 Perseverance Award, Isaac Turbarera Cielo. Isaac. And finally, CTEC was the vision of the former CMS Superintendent Ann Clark and Ellen McIntyre, the former Dean of the College of Education. We opened in 2017 to provide a pipeline of teaching profession. The number of students entering colleges of education over the past 15 years has decreased significantly. We knew that some students might choose a different path, but we wanted to make sure that teaching was our focus. One student entered our doors ready to be a teacher and embraced all aspects of our program. Both of her parents work for CMS. During the 2021-22 school year, this student was hired at an elementary school in CMS and served as a teacher assistant at 18 years old. She was named Teacher Assistant of the Year. She has recently been featured in several news stories by WFAE, CMS, and WSOC. All of us at CTEC are hoping that she sticks with the teaching profession and continues to do great things. She's leaving CTEC with a 3.4 GPA and has earned 85 UNC Charlotte credit hours. Again, just the Future Teacher Award, no doubt, goes to Landy Solorzano. And she just corrected me like most teachers will do. Her GPA is 4.1. All right. As we begin awarding diplomas, I would like to ask that all family members and guests show respect for all graduates by limiting cheers so every graduate's name is heard by all attendees and remain seated during the entire ceremony. We had the opportunity to establish a new tradition during the graduation ceremony so that all names can be heard. Class of 2022, please prepare to come to the stage and receive your diploma. Let's try this one.
Thank you. All right. Brody Lee Tingle. Lauren Kelly Graves. Drew Jamerson Walker. Kirsten Yesenia Colmenares. Warren Holbrook Chapman. Diana Janeth Ambrosio. Lilia Estefania Argueta Marroquin. Tiffany Ty Bowie. Tiffany T. Bowie. Essence Nayara Corwell. Torrance Rajay Crow. Fanta Lasana Donzo. Shanaria Mariah Dotson. Janique Nazir Elam. Merle Wendelin Gonzalez Herrera. Shamar Simeon Alonzo Gordon. Chella Milan Green. Raina Jahan Hemmings. Giovanni Alexander Jacinto Rivera. Maymuna Rahanula Kidway. Sing Tian Kin. Mary Lou Luce Elias. Wait. Daniel Chisholm Mba. David Chinadu Mba. Janaya Latrice Jashea Montgomery. Diana Owusu. Marilyn Rosa Hernandez. Edith Giselle Sanchez Hernandez. Cameron Alexandria Sanders. Antonio Naquan Schenkel. Landy Aaliyah Solorzano. Shania Renee Whitaker. And Diamond Sierra Wade.
tell you to stand. You're already there. All right. Graduates, by the authority vested in me as principal of the Charlotte Teacher Early College High School and by the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction and the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education, I pronounce you graduates of the Charlotte Teacher Early College High School, class of 2022. You may turn your tassels.